On Halloween night, three friends, Emily, Max, and Sarah, dared to explore Hollow Creek, a desolate neighborhood shrouded in legends of spirits and disappearances. The moon hung low, casting eerie shadows over the cracked pavement. As they wandered, they stumbled upon an ancient, abandoned house. Its windows were shattered, and the front door hung loosely on its hinges. A chill ran through the air, yet curiosity pushed them inside. The moment they crossed the threshold, the atmosphere shifted. Dust particles floated like trapped souls in the moonlight. Max, the bravest of the trio, grinned. "Come on, it's just an old house. Let's find some candy." They crept through the darkened rooms, each step echoing ominously. Sarah spotted a mirror, its surface smudged. She leaned closer, her reflection warping in the dim light. "Guys, check this out," she called. As they approached, the glass rippled and a pale face appeared behind her. A girl in a tattered dress, her eyes hollow and pleading. Emily gasped. "Get away from the mirror." Suddenly, the temperature dropped, and a gust of wind slammed the door shut. The friends exchanged terrified looks. "We need to leave," Max urged, but before they could move, the girl's face twisted into a scream that echoed through the house. Panicking, they dashed into a nearby room which was filled with old toys, dust-covered and forgotten. As they searched for an exit, the sound of children's laughter rang out, sweet yet sinister. They turned to see a group of spectral children playing, their bodies translucent and flickering. "What is happening, Sarah Chai?" Already known. Terror gripping her heart. "Those are the ones who disappeared," Emily said, her voice trembling. "They're trapped here." Just then, the door they had entered through slammed open, revealing the girl from the mirror. "You shouldn't have come here," she shrieked, her voice echoing with a haunting timbre. "Now you'll be part of the game." Before they could react, the walls seemed to close in, pulsating with a life of their own. The children's laughter grew louder, morphing into a cacophony of cries. Max grabbed Emily and Sarah's hands, and they ran through the maze of rooms, desperately searching for an escape. They stumbled into the kitchen, where an old table was set for a feast. Rotting food and dusty plates sprawled across it. In the center lay a single black candle, its flame flickering as if beckoning them closer. "It's a trap!" Sarah shouted. But they were drawn in by a strange force. Suddenly, the girl reappeared, her expression a mix of sorrow and rage. "Join us! You can't leave until we're free." Max, overwhelmed, shouted, "What do you want from us?" "Your fear feeds us," she screeched, and the spectral children advanced, their ghostly hands reaching for the friends. Emily's heart raced as she spotted a window at the far end of the room. "There! We can escape!" But the children swarmed around them, their laughter turning into shrill wails. Max pushed forward, forcing the others to follow. They barreled toward the window, but the girl lunged, her hand grasping at Max's arm. He felt cold fingers wrap around him, pulling him back. "Help!" he yelled. But Emily and Sarah were already at the window, clawing at the frame. With a burst of adrenaline, Sarah turned and kicked the girl, who stumbled back, releasing Max. "Go! Now!" she screamed. Emily and Sarah squeezed through the window just as the girl lunged again. Max was close behind, but as he reached the opening, he felt a tug on his ankle. "No!" he shouted, but the darkness enveloped him, dragging him back into the room filled with whispers and cries. Emily and Sarah fell onto the lawn, gasping for air. They looked back just in time to see the window slam shut, sealing the darkness inside. The laughter faded into an eerie silence, and the house loomed ominously behind them. They ran, fueled by terror, vowing never to return to Hollow Creek. But deep down, they knew they had left Max behind, a sacrifice to the haunting forces that thrived on fear and despair. As they reached the safety of the streetlights, a chilling thought crossed their minds. The house would remain, waiting for its next victims, the laughter of children echoing into the night, while Max's fate hung in the balance. On a chilly Halloween night, a group of teens gathered at Jenna's house for what they hoped would be the ultimate party. Pumpkins flickered on the porch, casting eerie shadows, and the air buzzed with laughter and the sound of music blaring from speakers. As the night wore on, games and snacks fueled their energy, but the atmosphere shifted when the clock struck midnight. Suddenly, the music cut out, and a heavy silence fell over the room. The teens exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what was happening. Without warning, the front door creaked open, revealing a figure shrouded in darkness. As they stepped into the light, gasps echoed around the room. It was a tall figure wearing a grotesque mask that bore an uncanny resemblance to Jenna's mother. The mask was disturbingly realistic, complete with hollow eyes and a chilling smile. "Good evening, children," the figure said, voice low and gravelly. "We're going to play a game of musical chairs." The teens hesitated, a mix of confusion and fear washing over them. "That's a little creepy, don't you think?" one boy remarked, trying to inject humor into the situation. The masked figure's smile widened. "If you're not seated when the music stops, you die." Laughter faded, replaced by unease. Jenna's heart raced as the others murmured nervously. The figure produced an old, battered chair, placing it in the center of the room. "Now let's begin," they commanded. The teens reluctantly formed a circle around the chair. The masked figure pressed play on a portable speaker, and a haunting melody filled the air. They began to walk in a slow, deliberate circle, glancing at each other with rising panic. As the music abruptly halted, everyone scrambled for a seat, but there was only one chair. The girl closest to the chair stumbled, falling to the ground. The masked figure loomed over her, and before anyone could react, it reached down and dragged her away, her screams echoing in the now silent room. "Next round," the figure said calmly, as if this were just a game. Trembling, the remaining teens knew they had to play along. They resumed the circle, hearts pounding as the music started again. This time, the stakes were clear, and every note felt like a countdown. As the music stopped once more, frantic chaos erupted. Two boys collided, both reaching for the chair. One managed to sit down, but the other was left standing. The masked figure grabbed him before he could react, dragging him away into the darkness. With each round, the group dwindled, terror suffocating the air. Jenna felt trapped, her mind racing. She couldn't let herself be next. As the music started again, she made a desperate plan, whispering to her remaining friends. "On the next round, let's all rush the chair together." The music cut off, and they all surged toward the chair. But in the frenzy, one girl was shoved aside. The figure didn't hesitate, its hand shooting out to claim her, dragging her away as she screamed. Now it was down to Jenna and one other boy. They stood frozen, the figure watching them with chilling anticipation. The music began to play one last time, and Jenna could feel her heart pounding in her ears. As the music stopped, they both lunged for the chair. This time, Jenna was quicker. She fell into the seat just as the boy stumbled. The masked figure advanced, but Jenna knew she had to act. In a surge of adrenaline, she grabbed a nearby candlestick and swung it at the figure, knocking it off balance. The mask cracked, revealing a familiar face underneath. Not her mother, but someone she recognized. It was her mother's friend, someone who had always been lurking in the background of her life. "Why?" Jenna shouted, tears in her eyes. "Because I wanted to teach you a lesson," the woman hissed, her voice dripping with malice. "You wanted a Halloween to remember, didn't you?" Jenna ran, bursting through the front door and into the night, the screams of the others still echoing behind her. As she fled into the darkness, she knew that this Halloween would haunt her forever.